Okay, everything looks good. Good afternoon, all. David Gross back with you with Sprite. Good afternoon, Sprite. How
Hi,
are
David.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We really have began to enjoy spending a little time with you, especially on Thursdays, to learn from you, of course. And Meredith is behind the camera, so hopefully she'll be able to see the comments as you post them from Facebook. I'm not sure we're monitoring YouTube. We are? Okay, Good deal. So we're also monitoring the comments as they come from YouTube. So please let us know as you want to see a particular topic covered in future weeks. Simply email us somehow. saleshelp@condé.com is a good one. You could also use support. You could also let your Condé rep know. Before we get started, a couple of just in the news things. We have a webinar coming up on the 29th of this month, which is March, and that webinar will focus on Sawgrass's new developing print architecture, which is called VPM, Virtual Print Manager, and along with one of its first software packages that really synced with it was Creative Studio. Creative Studio is an alternative to traditional software like Corel Photoshop. It is especially well suited for folks that don't own any software and of course want to get started. And so Sawgrass developed that software to have Corel-like features. And our templates are built into it, so it's very handy. The software is cloud-based, meaning you don't download it, you access it through your browser. So you do need an internet connection. So we'll be covering on the 29th with Jimmy Lamb all about VPM and Creative Studio. So a lot of folks are using Creative Studio, and that just goes to the credit of Creative Studio, but it goes to a lot of people, they want to get started faster, and if you wait long enough to learn Corel Draw, you're going to be waiting a long time if you're just beginning. So good deal. Next is open house is June 2nd, and this year we're going to try a few things a little bit different, so stay tuned for the invite that will be appearing on the website to sign up. So if you're in this area, or if you want to travel to for vacation or something like that, to our beaches, could be a lot of fun. And we're going to try to have a few events that we live broadcast from here. So we'll see how it goes. Always trying to do a little bit more. Our open house is always filled with great things, like our vendors come into town. You're able to meet with them. Lots of hands-on kind of activities, and just really a lot of fun. And guess what? We feed you. So really have some great food from this area. Next is Sacramento. So we've got a great show coming up from the fine folks at NBM in Sacramento. It is April 13th through 14th. And so we'll be teaching our class there. Myself and Jeff Butler will teach our Road to Sublimation Success class, along with Doug DeWitt will teach his transfer paper class. So excellent. Plus you can come by the booth and hands-on. So that's pretty much all I have. I have turned in an article, or I'm about to turn in an article for weddings. So we decided to bring a few wedding themed products in here, but just good spring things to show you. A lot of excitement. Sprite, what do you have for us today?
Okay, so we have one new product that we're going to be showcasing today. We're going to kind of talk about some other ones that we've had in the previous weeks. We have been showcasing a lot of new products on here, so we'll kind of touch on what we've been doing lately. And keeping in with the theme of March, we are still doing awards. So we're going to do an acrylic award and a glass award. And a great thing about the awards, when you purchase a piece of glass or acrylic, and also a lot of other things, we're going to give you a free piece of artwork to go with those substrates. So I have a whole list of substrates here. You want to list them online, or? So we have the 5x7 acrylic photo panel, which is the ACR 313. The small car flag, which is about a 7.5 by 10.5 single ply. That's a flag S/P. All these come with a free art pack when you purchase one. And these will all be on the web, and they'll be available for an entire month. Yes. So anytime you buy any of the following products within the month, you get a free art pack, which I'm going to actually press that art today. And so when I do, I'll show you. Yeah, so I have quite a few of them. Check our website. They'll be on a banner ad at the top, all the list of everything that you're going to buy.
And how do they actually get the art back?
So your sales rep will email it to you. Yes.
So you should request it or let them know.
It should. You just request it. So check for our banner ad at the top of the website. It'll say it's award season. Yeah, I think that's what I made it say. It's award season, and then it'll have a list of all these products. We have about 10 or 15 products that are going to give you a free art pack. So, and I'll show you the art in just a second when we press the acrylic. So just to remind you guys, like I said, we have been showcasing some new products. We have our really cool shout letters down here. You can't see the L, but LOVE. We have our panoramic acrylic. I'm sorry, a panoramic metal. So we have the curved, which I showed you guys I think a couple weeks ago, how to do the S curve and the C curve. We also have our color light film, which is on its way, and you can buy it by the sheet. And we have 4 different sizes of sheet. We have a 12 by 24, a 12 by 12, and 5 different, a 12 by 24, a 12 by 12, a 8 by 10, 8 by 8, 5 by 7. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be here this next week. And definitely check out our open house. Stay on top of that. It's going to be amazing this year. We just get better and better every single year, thanks to you guys. So definitely come hang out with us if you can. I'm teaching a class. I'm teaching a bunch of classes, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully we're going to be able to broadcast that or showcase that on Facebook and YouTube as well, hopefully. So, all right, we're going to start today with a brand new product, which you can see right here in my little plant. We have the Unisub Garden Stakes. So this is a brand new product that we just got. And they range in all different shapes and sizes. We have small ones. We have a bigger oval here. We also have little Benelux ones, a bigger Benelux. So all different shapes. These are really cute. You can put these in your yard. You can put your the letters or the numbers to your house on it. You can put them in your garden. You can do them for table settings. There's a bunch of neat things you can do with these. So we
have asked for one more larger piece. It's a double stake, and that may actually be on the web, but it's not in stock. So these are all in stock today. And so some time ago, we always speak with Unisub. They involve us in their plans, and we can of course request a custom product. But we told them that we'd love to have a great number of new products that were really focused on spring, focused on outdoors, and so they've had some breakthroughs, which we've discussed before, with their coatings and extending them outside. And so these are, a good solid 2 to 3 year kind of product with spot colors, graphics, longer than that, with photographs, maybe about 2 years, maybe towards 3, but something like that, because when a photograph fades, usually it's the magenta that fades first and you get a cyan tint to your photograph. But bottom line is, we have been evaluating these products for some time, been involved with the development. Very impressive.
People on YouTube are excited that they can put them outside.
Yes.
Yeah. So the couple of things that people want to do with sublimation is go outdoors, and the other ones keep saying, I want to sublimate white. And so there's a laundry list of what I call bucket list things, and the outdoor market is absolutely happening. And you'll see in evolutionary steps that ultimately, I think maybe into the year, certainly into next year, who knows, we might be into where we can comfortably say a product's going to last 5 years outdoors. But today we're in the 2 to 3 year range.
So I did have a question on Facebook. Beth asked, do you give seminars at your location? And we do for open house, and we are all here. I've had a lot of people go, oh, you work there? Yes, I actually do work here, so I am here all the time. David is here all the time, so if you do come by, we will show you some things. I like to press stuff for people. So we don't actually offer seminars and classes except for our open house.
I'd say the closest thing to what you're looking for, and it may be just simply ideal, is when we go on the road and teach at trade shows. We put a solid 90 minutes into our class, to the point where the last time they ran me out. Just said I had to get out for the next one. But so those classes are very powerful. If you want to see those classes, I know somewhere it's on our website, or you can just simply Google NBM shows 2018, Nancy Boy Mary shows 2018, and just see it. I think we covered the April edition the last time we were together, and you can subscribe to the magazine. I think it's free. I think they've got a paid program if you want extra stuff, but A&E magazine I think is awesome. Just go to nbm.com and there'll be a place. Also, the sister publication is called Printwear. Wear is spelled W-E-A-R, and that's a great publication, more orientated towards decorated apparel.
Okay. Yep. So we're going to press these. These are one-sided products. So they have no coating on the back, and then they're white on the gloss on the front. And so I'm just going to tape them to my transfer, and I'm actually going to press both of these at the same time. Yes.
One of the techniques that I recommend is there's always some coating on the backside, and you can sublimate, for instance, the reorder information or your contact information as a means of your referral system. And I strongly recommend you do that, and it's pretty easy. You can just extend the design up a little bit and flip it over so that you're doing that.
So we're going to do these image face down, substrate face up, and I can just fit both of these on my press, so I'm going to do them both together.
Yeah, you can always press more than one thing on your heat press if it's the same thickness. And as you can see, we're beginning to recommend more and more to use fabric on top of it as a consistent way. But as the metal is small like this, the traditional cover paper will also get the job done.
All right, I got a piece of polypropylene here that hasn't been sublimated all over, which you can use it over and over again. It looks like somebody's been testing on my other pieces.
I had a client the other day that called with a problem, quote, quote, with the fabric, and they said that they saw sublimation from the fabric get onto metal. And I was a little baffled, and I started asking questions. Turns out they were brand new to sublimation, and they were under the belief that they should trim their transfers so that all the excess paper was removed and just the ink was there, just that small piece of paper. And of course, if you do that, the metal is wide open, and with that fabric on top, you're definitely gonna cause a problem. So as many of you know, or probably most of you know, you don't trim sublimation paper because it's the ink that does the work. The paper is just the carrier to go from the printer to the heat press.
That's right. So we used heavy pressure on these. So you just want to use the cloth on the metal. And we also have a couple of other, we had a question, Vicki asked, do you use the cloth just for the metal or for all the substrates? So we only have a few that you use the cloth for, the metal being one of them. Always check your instructions on dietrends.com. That sound means we're done. When you click on the item, you'll see the product instructions down on the bottom of the page, and they change frequently. We're always updating our instructions, giving you better quality instructions. So always check before you press. All right. Oh yeah, these turned out great.
So just to clarify her question, I would say that a candidate, if you will, for using the fabric would be any substrate that's putting out a lot of moisture, because the fabric is intended to dissipate the moisture away from the substrate. And if you think about it, that's sort of the definition of the way those wicking fabrics work on your body, is they act as a method of letting that moisture, the perspiration, get away from the body.
Yep, so these turned out really cute. I have the big one here, and it just says Maria's Garden, and then I have this little one that I did for potatoes, which, by the way, potato is spelled with an O. Potatoes is spelled with an E. There you go, a little lesson. All right, so these are really cute. I'm gonna let these cool.
And they're substantial. In other words, they're not very flimsy. Feels like, I guess this is like 045 metal, which is the thicker version of the Unisub line. So
really
very substantial piece. Obviously, we'll take a little punishment here and there. Probably my dog would destroy it, but then again, I have a golden retriever, and she's very rough on everything.
All right, so these turned out really well. So check these out. These are, like I said, these are brand new. So these are going to be on the What's New on our front page of our website. Very excited
and
about these.
what we'd like to ask you to do, and if Bobby you're watching, maybe we arrange for a contest on the client gallery of your ideas for using these. I mean, we can come up with a few, but you folks out there are just overflowing with great uses of the product. Let us know. Yeah,
definitely. So submit it into the client gallery, and you can earn some Condé bucks. Or if you want, you can submit a blog, which is submitablog@condé.com. And if we accept your blog and we use it, we will definitely give you some Condé bucks for that as well. So,
awesome.
Yes. So definitely share what you're doing with us. We get ideas from you guys. So let us know what you're doing. If you have a really cool idea, let us know. Put it in our client gallery, submit a blog at condé.com. Chance to win money.
A very attractive product. It feels quality.
Yeah.
People are praising their reps, their sales reps, customer service.
So Meredith is sharing with us that some of you out there are mentioning your Condé reps and thanking them for their great service, and that's something that we're very blessed with here. We have just a lot of great Condé reps, and certainly. That's, I work for them and I work for you, and they do just a great job for us. Just can't say enough praise about them. So thank you for your kind remarks.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to move on to some different substrates. We're going to move on to our glass and our acrylic. So as I was saying, it is March, and in March we're going to do awards. I guess it's almost April, but that's all right. So this month we are doing awards, and so I have a certificate of appreciation. We're going to press onto our 8x10 glass. So if you have not checked out our glass yet, you should definitely do so. It's just a really awesome piece. This is an 8x10. I've been giving these to my family for Christmas and birthdays and all kinds of fun stuff. So they're really, really easy to press. We're just going to take it, set it on our transfer. Make sure you do not mirror the transfer because it needs to be right reading. It's going to go through that glass. We're just going to tape it down.
So one side of the glass is coated. The other side is just shiny, smooth. And so we obviously want to transfer to the coated side.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell when you get the glass. So I don't know if you guys can see it. This side has kind of a sheen to it, and this side is kind of flat. So you want your image to go on the flat side. That's the coated side.
And you're not able to see it up here, but Sprite has put a black line giving her about a 1/4 inch bleed. Mm-hmm. Well, looks about an 1/8 inch bleed on each edge, so that it is very easy to make sure we are lined up properly.
Yeah. me just so you guys can kind of see. This is what David's talking about. So it has, you can see the black edge on the bottom where the white is. I don't know if you guys can see it on YouTube. And then it's just taped on there, and it does have, I think, an 1/8 of an inch. I use 0.2 is the measurement that I use in Corel, just 0.2. So this is an 8x10. I made it 8.2 by 10.2, and that's a sufficient bleed for just about anything. All right, so with the glass, the only consumable that we need with our new glass is our Nomex felt pad. So we're going to put our Nomex down first. A piece of butcher paper. We're going to press our glass image face down.
So the transfer is on top, face down.
And we're going to cover that with another piece of butcher paper. We're going to press it for 1.5 minutes at heavy pressure.
And I think some of our instructions also have it where you're doing the fabric on top.
Oh, you know what? That is right. So I need to check my instructions before I do it. Thank you, David. Yes, you definitely press this with the fabric on top.
Yeah. So again, anything that has the potential of moisture coming out. Plus, there are some of us around here that believe the fabric is a little bit of a cushion, as substrates are not perfectly level, that it would allow it. So when we spray the coating on the glass, is it perfectly uniform? Is it perfectly level? Well, you know, there's always some imperfections. Mm-hmm. The other thing that we're always asked about for brand new folks is when we mention about this cover paper, what is cover paper? And so it's just what I refer to as uncoated white butcher paper. Office supply companies sell it. Uline sells it. Sam's Club, probably Costco. I've seen it on the internet if you just look around. So it's just very inexpensive paper. Some people will use newspaper print, I've heard about. Some people will use brown paper. I'm not a fan of brown paper because I like it to be, you know, clean. I want to be able to see it. So today also is the press of choice for us is DK20S from the George Knight Company. We have standardized long ago on that press. It's 16 by 20. It's a very high heat output press. Presses are, you know, a little bit like the different burners on your stove. You can buy a press that has a small burner. You can buy a press that's a big burner. They all sort of look the same, but the big burner is simply going to cook things faster and more thorough.
Okay, so I always want to check and make sure that everything is transferred well, and I can tell that it has transferred well based on the color that's left on my paper, and this looks really good.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Oh.
And so it's very hot. It's going to cool, and
it's smoking a little bit.
Tilt it where it's downward like that. So yeah, you just beautiful. Turn it around and let them see the back of it. Some extent, probably with camera, the back looks even better.
Yeah.
So just amazing piece of glass.
You guys can see that. That's the front, and then the back.
So the color light coating technology, which we developed a few years back, it allows you to put it on substrates like acrylic and glass and the new color light film, and it's viewable from both sides. And we also achieve something that you sort of have to see to believe, but you're able to actually sublimate the appearance of white. So I don't see a piece of the acrylic in here, but
oh, I don't have acrylic in here now. I will.
The coating technology amplifies. She's pointing upward. Yeah. Thank you, Meredith. The coating technology through light refraction amplifies what is supposed to be white, and I wish I could take credit for it. I can't. It was our R&D folks that came up with this. Just an amazing breakthrough in one of those sublimation things that everybody asks for. Can you sublimate white? So ever how it does it, it allows you to definitely see the amplification of what is perceived to be white. truly amazing breakthrough.
We're having trouble watching the press because the plant.
Our plant was in the way, so sorry about that. Did we miss any questions here?
So Chris just said, just make sure what you use does not have any type of pattern on it. So Chris, I think, so when you use the acrylic, you have to use the pressing pad. And I think maybe that's what you mean by pattern. And this is going to stop the face of the acrylic from having any kind of dimples or taking the shape of any, your butcher paper. Your butcher paper has teeny tiny pieces of like sand and dirt in it. And this pressing pad, what it's going to do is it's going to stop the face of your acrylic from getting too hot so that it starts to change the shape, change the texture, the smoothness. But on the glass, you don't have to worry about that. You can press, you always want to use the consumables that we tell you to use. You want to use the Nomex or the heat conductive rubber or the butcher paper. You don't want to,
as we specify.
Yeah, you really don't want to deviate from that. And that's just to get the best results that you can.
Well, Chris, you're 100% correct on the acrylic. That bottom pressing pad is absolutely necessary because we're heating the acrylic enough to where we're starting to soften all the way through because we're going to give it a curve. And where if you, like with our coasters, we have acrylic coasters, acrylic keychains. We don't heat them enough to need to use the pressing pad. So we're doing a minimal sublimation into the coating that's in the top of it, and there's nothing special needed on the bottom.
And I actually saw, I think, on one of our forums that somebody is pressing acrylic and their pressing pad is just tearing up after they do the first piece. That's from too much pressure. When you use too much pressure, you are going to put a little too much force on the pressing pad, and it can stick to your acrylic, which it will come right off once the acrylic has cooled, but you will ruin your pressing pad. You will get a pack of 10. So, and they should be good for about 10 to 15 presses. So you'll be able to tell, I don't know if you guys can see this one, but I've used this one before, and you can see the ink on it, but you can also see that it's still in really good shape. I think I've only used it once or twice. And also don't worry about the ink on it. That's not going to transfer back to your substrate. It's not going to transfer back onto your acrylic.
Can you talk about the different sizes of glass that you can do with the 400?
So the question is, I have an SG400 or a similar printer to that, and I want to know sort of what my size options are. So I believe you're probably going to be confined as far as acrylic to 8x10 and the glass to that size also.
And 5x7.
So with that printer, you can do 8.5 by 14, which is legal through the bottom tray. Technically, if you buy the bypass tray, you're still restricted to 8.5 as far as the width, but you can run longer paper through it. So, for instance, I have cut 8.5 by 21 inches, I believe, is a standard paper that we stock for people that want to get extended length out of their SG400. You just simply need the bypass tray. I won't call it trivial to do, but it's certainly doable by, with just a little work. I daily get an email from someone saying, I want to do neckties or I want to do lanyards. What can I do? Well, you can cut you a strip of paper and feed it through the bypass tray. Again, it's not without its challenges, but as you want more information, I do have a video. I think if you go to YouTube and just type in Condé space banner, I've got a very old video that's still applicable today that at least shows you it in operation.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move on to our acrylic. We're going to press a 5x7 piece of acrylic and this art is, minus the photograph, is the art that you're going to get with the art pack. So I'll show you guys this after, well, actually, let me go ahead and show you now. So this is the art you're going to get when you buy any of those 10 products that we're going to have listed on the web, minus the photograph, so you can change the text. I'm sorry, Karen asked, can you provide the suggested retail pricing for each of the items you are demonstrating? Yes, give me just a second, Karen. So when you guys get any of the 10, you can have this beautiful artwork. You can edit it in Corel, Photoshop, Silhouette, possibly Creative Studio. I'm pretty sure you can. So, all right, so we're going to press our acrylic. And retail pricing, you know, it really varies. So depending on kind of what you're doing and who you're offering it to, my suggestion would be to research your product. So if you're doing awards or you're doing, you know, it depends on what you're doing. But keep in mind that you are also selling your artwork, and you're making these products customized for your client. So, you know, anything here, the glass, the acrylic, definitely, you know, upwards of $20 a piece, so definitely.
What I would say is, and again, I've got a lot of good friends in the awards business, and they have coached me over the many years about underpricing your products. And I say, you know, for instance, this piece right here, absolutely a $50 product. To deliver a product like this, that's $50 and up product. It's a high-end award product. It's beautiful. I know of some photo people changing from awards to photos, and they certainly would price it in that range as well. So, you know, if you underprice your stuff, people are going to think it's junk maybe, or not valuable, or won't hold up. And certainly this is not the case with these kinds of products. We do have a spreadsheet that we've got pricing ranges. The price that you can fetch for an item, so to speak, is first determined by the substrate itself. This is an 8x10 piece of beautiful glass. You know, it's high quality, very clear kind of thing. Number two is the artwork. And then number three is your selling environment. Are you selling like you're at a flea market, or are you selling like you're at a boutique? And so, you know, I know of people who sell phone cases for an incredible amount of money simply because their presentation, the experience that they get, that their clients get when they're buying a case, you know, renders that. So, you know, these are all can be sold at very expensive prices. It's just a matter of making sure that your artwork is delivering the value of the product. So it needs to look really good.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So,
and I would say that's the same with acrylic. Very similar pricing strategies for acrylic.
All right. And I know we've done the acrylic quite a few times, but it does require a few more steps than most of our other pieces. So, but the end result is just fabulous. So we have our 5x7 acrylic. And just like the glass, you have the matte side that's coated, and then the shiny side that is not. So you always want to print to the matte side. On this one, we're not going to use tape because of the face of the acrylic, so we're going to use Pro Spray. Everything's sticky. All right, we're going to spray it over my garbage can. And I do have this artwork cut out, and that is simply so I can line the acrylic up a little bit better. Okay. So I'm going to place a piece of butcher paper on the bottom, my acrylic pressing pad on the top of the butcher paper, and then this is going to go smooth side face down.
So the transfer is on top, face down.
Yep.
And notice, you can't see it obviously here, we've used the text print paper for printing on the acrylic and to an extent on the glass, but not really critical on the glass. We prefer the text print paper as it really, if any part of the acrylic starts grabbing it, the paper will come off.
Yeah. Then next we're going to use the 1/16 inch heat conductive rubber. You can use the 1/8 inch. It's just going to add a little bit of time to your pressing. No big deal. Set my timer.
So all our instructions you can check at the product page. They're right underneath.
So we're going to use medium pressure on this one.
Again, we don't want to use heavy pressure because we will fracture the pad, and that will lower the life, as you mentioned. So I'm sure the question is going to come up about Pro Spray versus heat tape. So ultimately, both have their place, and so for things where you just don't have a place to tape. So for instance, we're doing this double-sided metal. There literally is no place that I can think of to tape, and therefore Pro Spray is appropriate to hold the transfer to each side. In the case of acrylic, if you were to put a piece of tape on it, it would likely mar the acrylic and, of course, ruin it. So we've got to make sure we don't put a texture on the bottom of the acrylic, as I think Chris said. And then everywhere else, we just want to leave the acrylic, of course, to look perfect.
And then the other question I get about the Pro Spray all the time is how do you stop it from kind of spitting out and not being a mist? And you just simply soak the head, which the head just comes right off of the spray can, just soak that tip in acetone or fingernail polish remover, and then rinse it out, let it dry overnight, and then you can use the tip. Will be brand new in the morning.
Good tip.
There's a question about whether customers come with their artwork already or they anticipate you to provide the artwork.
So the question is whether your customers come with their artwork ready to press or whether you provide the artwork. And so really you're going to provide the artwork because you have the sublimation printer with the sublimation inks. And most of the time, you know, that's going to be true. You also want to make sure that you account for that in your pricing. So when people come to you with a photograph or an idea and you have to spend your time designing that, you know, make sure you account for that. And even if they come to you with their artwork.
So just to, as she's opening the press here, obviously if they bring you a photograph, you're using the photograph. And so otherwise, maybe you, for instance, have a template like Sprite is talking about on this piece. She gave it a little curl.
Yeah, just curl it with my hands.
And she's putting it in there.
Okay.
And then she's going to put the lid on and just simply let it cool. Gravity will continue to shape it and we'll be finished. Why don't you pop that out there and just show it to them.
All right.
A little bit.
So you do have to use the jig. Of course, we're going to kind of cheat a little bit now. Let's see that. It's hot. So we're going to cheat a little bit. And if you do not use the jig, what's going to happen is the acrylic is going to settle like it would in an old, you know, we have really old houses here in Mobile, and they have really old glass in them. And what happens is that glass starts to kind of pull towards the bottom. And that's what's going to happen here because I've taken it out of the shape. But I can show you guys what it's going to look like. And it still has a little bit of a curve to it. And then, there we go.
Beautiful. So in designing things, you can have a template that is designed for a photograph, and what you would do is you would drop the photograph into the area there, and just give it just a little bit of a nudge, so you can get just a little bit and put it back in. Yep.
There we go.
So and you want to go easy on the edges because with the acrylics off, you can damage the edges. But I think it's now hard enough. So again, just darn cool. Turn it around and show them the back side of it. Really cool there. So there's you need to add value to artwork. So for instance, a lot of people will use patterns and monograms, things like that. Well, that's not something your client is going to be bringing in. You already have it. You would pick out a font, pick out a pattern, color, and you're done. We have a lot of sprites, patterns at Condé Design that you can check out. So I would say if a client brings you a photograph, you need to try to add value to that photograph. Personalize it in some way, little clip art, hearts, or something that, because anybody can go to Walmart, order something with a photograph on that. So they're coming to you, and you want to provide a little extra value. For example, we call the word lanyap around here, adding a little something extra. And it could be the date, personalization, could be, like a wedding, first, last name, initials, location, just whatever. So you should be, always on the move to add value to it. And if you go to the client gallery here at Condé, it's right in front of it. You see hundreds, if not thousands, of examples. Our clients, you out there watching this, you'll see your artwork out there, and that is very exciting. A while ago, we were playing on the client gallery, just looking for some wedding stuff. I want to feature one of the folks that have submitted an entry on the client gallery. I want to feature that photograph in my article. So they're out there, great examples of, what other people are doing. And the better the artwork is, the higher price you can sell it.
Definitely. All right. So that's what I have for you guys today to press and show you. You can see what we have, what's trending, our top sellers. Ask your sales rep. They have a list of all the products that were the big sellers last year. That trend continues on this year. It's wedding season. So, start... Thank you, Diana. So it's wedding season. Start getting those weddings in. Start, selling to some brides and some family members. Be good stuff. Submit a blog at Condé.com. All your great ideas. We love to see them. We love to have them.
Yeah, the community that's out there, folks like you, we just learn so much in any given day about what's working, what's not. New products and new uses, just always keeps us on our toes. We love it, and we look forward to serving you again.
Yeah, and if you have any ideas for future videos, leave them down in the comments. Just let us know.
Sprite, great, awesome, awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.